IT for telling my husband he and his mother ruined our wedding day for me. When married my husband, I was clear that I didn't want any photos as I was struggling with my self-esteem after gaining weight due to personal losses. But my MIL insisted on taking photos at a beauty spot on our wedding day. My husband remained silent during her insistence. When I saw the photos, I was devastated by how I looked and ended up crying. It just ruined my day. I, 35F, got married to my husband, M41. Recently. Neither of us liked the spotlight, so agreed on a small event. The only thing I was firm about was I didn't want photos. My self-esteem is in the toilet. In the last 18 months, I have put on weight. I am not looking to make excuses, but there are some reasons why. 1. In the last 18 months, I have lost both my parents and my grandmother. I have lost 2 jobs and had a miscarriage. Depression has hit me hard at times, and I have been comfort eating. 2. I was put on a new medication, and weight gain is a side effect. 3. About a year ago, I broke my left ankle badly. I have had 3 surgeries to date. The last one was 10 days before the wedding. I can't walk without pain. I really didn't want photos that would remind me of the fact I am now fat. A few weeks before the wedding, my mother-in-law is talking about going to a local beauty spot for photos. I say no thank you, and that yes, I am being serious. My husband heard this, and later that night I said again, I really don't want photos, and he said that was fine with him. The week before the wedding, I am having the same conversation with Emiel and my husband. Day of the wedding, my FL and Emiel picked us up. I am no longer able to drive as I can't move my ankle. We get the whole legal shindig done, and as we are going back to the car, Emil again says, let's go to the beauty spot for photos. I, again, so no, but she tells Phil to drive there, and my husband just sits there. I know I gave him the look, but total silence. Long story short, the photos are taken, and we head back. In the car driving home, my MIL starts showing me the photos, and I hate myself in them. I look like a pile of fat shit. I look ridiculous in a dress with a medical boot, and I can't stop the tears rolling down my cheeks. This upsets my mother-in-law, and there is an atmosphere the whole rest of the day. I really tried to move on, but I had to get out of that stupid dress, and all I really just wanted to hide away. Privately, I told my husband him and his mother ruined our wedding day for me because all I can think of is those pictures. He said he didn't realize I was so serious about no photos, that it's only for his mum to keep, and that he thinks I look beautiful. I told him that not 30 minutes into our marriage, he totally let me down, and I don't know if I am beyond hurt or furious. He said I was being ridiculous, and that I let him down by making such a fuss over a normal part of weddings. He also said I had hurt his mother. She has some mental health issues and has been obsessing over me crying on my wedding day, and that I need to reassure her she hasn't done anything wrong. I told him no, and there will be serious problems if he tries telling her otherwise, because as far as I am concerned, they both totally ignored my one request, and that was unacceptable. He thinks I am being a totally unreasonable AH. So am I being an AH Reddit? Relevant comments. Commenter: why did you get out of the car at the beauty spot? I'd have sat there until everyone gave up. NTA: Bulldozer Mill deserves all the bad feels she's feeling. She done fucked up, putting her selfish wants ahead of the bride's. Commenter: this OP is blaming the husband and Mill, but she got out of the car, went to the spot, posed, and allowed the photos to be taken. Take some accountability. Commenter: right, because it's impossible for someone in a vulnerable position to get browbeaten into doing something they don't want. Commenter: establishing and sticking to proper boundaries is especially important for people in those vulnerable mental states. It was absolutely imperative she not let herself get bulldozed to really truly enjoy her special day. Now it's imperative that she sticks to her guns about feeling wronged. It's possible for both the MIL to be an asshole and for OP to have failed in their own self-care. This situation is most definitely both. Edit: I'm well aware those in vulnerable emotional positions struggle with establishing boundaries. That's why it's so important. Also for verdict, OP is NTA. Commenter: it's also possible for people in vulnerable mental states to not be able to set those boundaries. You are NTA. Your marriage means that you two are a team against anyone and anything that causes you pain. That includes his mom. If she were truly sorry, she'd offer, not just agree to delete all those photos and apologize for being insensitive and placing her wants over your needs. I've lost both parents, but a decade and a half apart. I cannot imagine managing that grief, a miscarriage, and 2 job losses. You are NTA for however you cope and however you feel. You can always lose weight when you have the strength to do so again. If you aren't already, please get some grief counseling. You are absolutely deserving of help. All I can tell you is that one day, and I hope it's soon, the warmth of your parents' memory will be stronger stronger than the grief of their loss. They both coexist, but the love and warmth is stronger. I bet the same will eventually be true of your wedding day. I hope your husband figures out that he should always be on your team, and that the joy with him outweighs these events, and you remember the photos as annoying as hell, but not as important as the love you share with your husband. Story 2. My 51F husband, forever 50M, died 3 years ago. How do I convince our children I do not want to ever move on? Shortly after my late husband celebrated his 50th birthday, he succumbed to his heart defect and passed away. He was born with a missing valve, and we always knew there was a risk of an early death, but it hit me like a train regardless. He was and always will be my soulmate, and I wanted to grow old and senile together with him. We have 2 wonderful children together, 20F and 18M. The kids were hit especially hard by my husband's passing, especially our son, who was very close with him. I have been there for them to the best of my ability, but it has been difficult when I spend each moment feeling like I have a hole in my being, as if I am missing the biggest and brightest part of me. Our kids are my world. They have been my beacon of hope throughout this ordeal, and I don't know where I would be without them. They have noticed how utterly lost I have been since my husband's passing, and have started to encourage me to rejoin the dating process. I understand this comes from a place of care and worry, but they continue pushing even when I say I am not interested. My husband was truly my other half. I simply can't imagine moving on and replacing him. He will live forever in my heart, and I sincerely hope to see him again when I pass on. It is one of the only dreams I have left for the future. When our children tell me it's okay to move on, I can't help but feel I would be disrespecting his memory, and the thought of being with anyone else fills me with disgust. I truly have no desire to move on. I think I'll spend the remainder of my life waiting to be reunited with my love. How do I convince our children I have no wishes to move on without being disrespectful to their concerns? Relevant comments. Commenter: have you laid it out fully to them, simply and honestly, that you aren't holding back from dating for any reason but simply feel no desire to? And aside from your children, do you have a network of fellow adults that you are connected to and able to rely on for support and friendship? Their pushing it might just be out of concern of you becoming isolated. OP: yes, I have told them that I do not want to date, but they seem to believe it is due to a fear of getting back out there. They have told me many times not to worry about this, and that there are probably many eligible men my age. I'm sure there are, yet that is irrelevant since I do not want to find them. As for my network, I would like to say I do. I am still very close with my friends from college as well as certain co-workers, and we do keep in touch often. As the years went on, we spread out across the country, and it is harder to connect for in-person support. They have still been there for me through everything. Commenter: I'm sorry for your loss. I think it's beautiful that you and your husband had that kind and depth of relationship. I come from a different place. I have been separated for 8 years, have no need to get divorced, and no desire to date again. If I did, I'd get divorced. My youngest would like me to start dating again. I have no interest. However, I have gone back to school, one class at a time, to take up a new interest, and have been focusing more on getting things done that have slipped to the wayside in the last 25 years. I'm trying to pay more attention to friendships, maybe look at taking up some interests. You are not disrespecting your kids' concerns. You see a different way forward than they do. Story 3. Weeb TA. If I went forward with naming my possible baby boy after my BIL when his long-term girlfriend told me no, I, F30, am just short of 36 weeks pregnant with my first baby. My husband, M30, and I are not finding out gender until delivery. Thus, we must have a name prepared for both genders. It is important to me that, no matter the gender, some part of the name honors family. Unfortunately, I come from a very broken immediate family. My parents had a nasty divorce, my sister went no contact from my mom, etc. Nonetheless, I was named after my late maternal grandma, so the girl name will honor her. The boy name is a different story. Some context. The implosion of my immediate family happened when my husband and I were first dating in our early 20s. I obviously relied heavily on his family for support. Once we married for 3 years, together for 8, I officially regained an intact family. My husband has no interest in naming our potential boy after himself. His younger brother, M28, had previously played very present role in our lives. He even lived with us briefly. Very intelligent, kind man. His name is a popular USA capital city. Let's say Memphis. We were close before he began dating Ashley, F25. Ashley and I get along very well, but Ashley doesn't like my MIL or really anyone in his family. She doesn't like that she has to spend time away from her very close-knit family to visit my husband's family on holidays, etc. BIL also moved to the other side of our state to live with her, closer to her family, so we see them less. They are very serious, and will likely marry. It hurts me that Ashley doesn't appreciate both her family and her future in-laws. It seems to be all about her family. Back to my main point. I notified Ashley via text that if we have a boy, we are going to surprise BIL by giving our baby the middle name of Memphis. I thought she would be excited and feel included in the surprise. Instead, she responded very negativity. She claims that she wanted to name their future son Memphis. They're not even engaged? I am at the point of my pregnancy where I really don't give a shit. Pardon my language. I responded and told her it wasn't a question. It's happening. My husband's family is all I have. I don't want to drive Bill and Ashley away, as I am very sensitive to losing family after my own experiences. But Ashley can use a boy name from her side of the family. She talks about them like they are gods anyways. WIBTA. If I go through with naming my potential boy after Bill, or should I consider her perspective? TLDR. I want to name my baby after my BL. His girlfriend said she wants to use his name for their future children one day. I told her I'm going to use it anyway. WIBTA. If I actually did. Relevant comments. Commenter. If it's going to be your child's middle name, why should she care? Plus, since she's never around your family, it's not like she's going to be exposed very much to the child with the forbidden name. Name your baby whatever you want. Even if they get married and have babies, they could end up with girls only. It's a silly thing for her to focus on. YWNBTA. Commenter. Who cares? I had a cousin with the same name as me. She was, I guess, a step-cousin, but it was no big deal. However, saying things like, it's not a question, it's happening, will absolutely drive people away. You're not seeing the forest for the trees. You want to honor family, but while trying to do so, you're being really rude to them. Don't try to surprise your BIL. Ask him. That's the polite and courteous thing to do. If he declines, don't take it personal. Maybe he wants a JR someday and doesn't want you to take that from him. Story 4. AITA for refusing to let my brother move in after his divorce. My 32F brother, Jake, 28M, just went through a really ugly divorce. His wife left him, took the kids, and he's completely devastated. He's always had a bit of a lost puppy personality, and growing up, I was the one constantly stepping in to help him, emotionally, financially, you name it. Our parents weren't around much, so I became more of a mother figure to him than a sister. Fast forward to now, and he's asked if he can move in with me and my husband, Ben, 34M, because he needs a fresh start. At first, I felt bad and told him he could stay temporarily. But after talking to Ben, I realized Jake wasn't clear on what temporary meant. Jake made it sound like he could stay for months, maybe even a year, while he figures things out. I love my brother, but he's always been irresponsible, both with money and his life choices. This divorce, while tough on him, isn't exactly a shock. He's never really been present for his family, and constantly put his needs above his ex-wife and kids. Now he's coming to me, expecting me to clean up his mess, like always. Ben made it clear that we need boundaries. We just got married 6 months ago, and we're still adjusting to life as a couple. I don't think it's fair for Jake to disrupt that, especially since I know from experience that he'll rely on me emotionally to the point of suffocation. When I told Jake he could only stay for a few weeks, he blew up. He called me heartless and said that as his sister, and someone who knows how much he's struggling, I should want to help him. He threw out the family is supposed to be there for each other line and made me feel like the worst person in the world for saying no. Our mom is furious with me and is guilt-tripping me, saying Jake has no one else and that I'm selfish for putting my marriage over my own brother. She even hinted that I'm acting like Ben is more important than family, which really hit a nerve. My husband, on the other hand, thinks it's ridiculous that Jake is trying to move in right after we got married and feels like my family doesn't respect the boundaries we've set. Now, Jake is couch surfing at a friend's place and making it very clear that I've abandoned him. He's been posting vague statuses on Facebook about how family turns their back on you when you need them most, and now mutual friends are messaging me, telling me I should help him. Ben is furious that this has turned into drama, and now I feel like I'm being torn between my husband and my family. I just want some peace. AITA for saying no to my brother. Relevant comments. Commenter. I am getting the impression, based on your measured response to your brother's request and your mother's reaction to it, your 28-year-old little brother is used to and comfortable with you taking care of him. You are newly married. Your husband is your family. He doesn't want an indefinite house guest. And who can blame him? You offered your brother a place to stay for a few weeks so he could sort out a place to live. It's time for your brother to put on his big boy pants and live like an adult. You can't spend your life wiping his backside and kissing his boo-boos. If your brother and mother don't understand, it's not your problem. It's their problem. Your brother is old enough to figure out how to rent an apartment. OP. Jake has always relied relied on me to take care of things for him. And I think that's why this situation feels so uncomfortable. I've been playing that role for so long that it's hard for him and my mom to accept that I'm stepping back. And you're right, I'm newly married, and my husband deserves a home without an indefinite guest. Offering Jake a few weeks was me trying to help without losing sight of my own life, but apparently that's not enough for him or my mom. At some point, he needs to stand on his own 2 feet, and this feels like the moment for him to do that. It's tough, but like you said, it's their problem to solve now. Commenter: if your mother is so upset about it, then she should take your brother in. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.